So better to follow in the footsteps of Mother Yashoda than the golfers and the tennis players and whatever else who have such a set routine in their life. But yes, nevertheless, even as devotees, we should try to find the proper balance. The proper balance, as I usually say, is like, driving a car or riding a cycle. All of you drive cars, I presume. So that driving a car, you have to be in a state of balance. And you go fast sometimes, you go slower. You raise your speed, decrease your speed, you turn left, you turn right, you switch lanes, come back to the lanes, you look at the speed limits, you look at the signals, you look at the destination, you look at the GPS. So you're multitasking. You are doing so many things as you're driving your car. And you have to pay attention to so many things. If there's a car in front of you that's moving slow, then you shift to the other lane, go ahead and then come back. So you have to do all this navigation that goes on constantly. If you're inattentive, then there could be some catastrophe. So then this is called a dynamic balance. So we shouldn't think that when we set a balance in life that is going to be static. Static means that once it's set, you like a knob, you turned it and set it. Now rest of my life it will be like this. I will do this at this time to this time, and then from this time to this time I'll do that. No, life is ever changing. Because we have our plans and God has His plans. Man proposes, God disposes. So you will have so many events that happen in your life on a day-to-day basis which will upset your plans, which will topple your balance. Theoretically, on paper, you've made nice plans. I want to do this at this time, this at this time. And then something comes along. And then your balance goes for a toss. So what should you do? Should you give up trying to strike a balance? No. We should follow this principle of the dynamic balance. Like you drive a car or you ride a cycle. See, a cycle, you got to drive at a certain speed, a range of speed. If you go too slow, you'll fall off the cycle. It's very difficult to drive a cycle extremely slowly. Have you tried? You can't, you'll fall off. If you drive too fast as well, you'll have an accident and you'll fall off. So even to keep balanced, you have to pay attention to that. And then it's the same way, you pay left turn, right turn, yes? So you adjust it. So you're going like this in a particular direction to your destination, but then you move a little to the right, little to the left, but you go back and forth, but your overall direction is the same. And you're taking these little detours here and there, because eventually it helps you to ultimately get to that point. And you don't stay away for long. If you go away for some time, then you come back again. I remember 2 days ago we were going for some program, and we went round and round and round. Yes? Where was that place? Some place. We missed a turning, we missed an exit. No? We missed that. Who was... Yes, there is the culprit. Yes. So we missed one particular exit or roundabout or something like that, and then we were, we had. I remember in Leicester also, one time we went, and this was a couple of years ago, and then we lost our way, and once we got onto a particular path, it took us such a long time to come back. We had a nice guided tour of the whole area. So we shouldn't go out that far, but we should go a little bit and then come back. Let's say you're driving, there's a 3-lane, for one direction. So you may go here and there, but don't take the exit and go somewhere else, because then you'll miss your destination. So stay on the highway, but move a little to the left and to the right as per need. Slow, sometimes go slow, sometimes go fast, depending on the situation. So similarly, we have our Krishna conscious path chalked out for us. We want to go to Krishna Loka, Goloka Vrindavan. We want to become pure devotees of Krishna. So yes, we have to chant, we have to read, we have to hear, we have to serve, we have to worship, take prasadam, so many things. And each of these items requires certain time, emphasis, priority. But what happens when, let's say, you haven't been able to read for some time because it was a very busy day? Yesterday, today, tomorrow, something has come up and you couldn't read. In other words, you moved away from the destination for some time. But don't let it be for long, because you will get into the exit and you will exit Krishna consciousness. So come back. Make sure you don't go without reading Srila Prabhupada's books for too long. Maybe 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. Okay, then the alarm bell should ring. And you should come back and read your books, Prabhupada's books. Then you haven't, let's say you're fasting for some time, or you were busy with something, you didn't eat your prasadam properly on time. So don't be like that for too long, then come back. You were very busy with service. Now you neglected other things, so then come back after some time. You can reduce your service for that duration, catch up on your reading, catch up on your chanting. So the dynamic balance system works over a period of days, not every day. To have a perfect balance every single day of your life is just not possible in the long term. So you may have to change, but remember, over the period of a few days, you should make sure that you are balanced out. If you didn't get enough sleep tonight, catch up the next day. Otherwise, you'll fall sick. So your balance is going on like that. You're trying to set it over a period of a few days or maybe a week. This will help you very practically. And keep a note of where you've been straying off. So you haven't read for 10 days, then no, that shouldn't be, you should come back. And I hope the situation doesn't come and don't chant for 10 days. That's something that's to be done every day. So no scope there. There you have to chant. Similarly, you haven't been able to go to the temple for 4 days, 5 days, 6 days. Okay, maximum 1 week, then you have to run. Yes? So you have to judge dynamically. Set your balance. See that this is something I haven't been able to do, now I should do it. So follow in the footsteps of Mother Yashoda. And you will be able to set the balance very nicely. It's not easy, but anything that's valuable and important in life is not easy. But because you have the GSS with you, you'll be able to navigate. You'll be able to strike the proper balance. Don't become too overwhelmed with your material life, your careers, your jobs, and your other material duties. At the same time, don't neglect them either. Each needs its own thing, priority. Do the right thing at the right time. That's how you'll find the balance. When are you supposed to sleep? Night. What time? 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, what time?
From 9 to 3.
What time do all of you sleep? Be honest.
10 o'clock.
10
o'clock.
The earlier, the better. Do you want to become healthy, wealthy, and wise? Early to bed, early to rise makes a person healthy, wealthy, and wise. So yes, you want to strike the balance. The first thing you have to do is to try to go to bed early. Then wake up early. Don't go to bed early and wake up late. So sleep early, wake up early. Freshen up. Get down to your spiritual activities, your chanting. Finish as much of your chanting as possible first thing in the morning. And then do your other things. So there's a time for chanting. If you do it at that time, everything gets balanced. There's a time for eating. Eat when you're supposed to eat. Sleep when you're supposed to sleep. Chant when you're supposed to chant. Get angry when you're supposed... Oh, no, don't get angry. Don't get angry. You're not supposed to get angry. Get married when you're supposed to get married. Yes, this I want to specifically tell all of you young people. Don't just wait and wait and wait and wait. There's a time for everything. You miss the bus otherwise. Once you lose your morning chanting, then it's very hard the rest of the day. Similarly with marriage. Don't start postponing because you have a career in mind, a job in mind, and so many other things. And because you haven't found Mr. Perfect or Miss Perfect. Yes? So you must get down to the right things at the right time. Then your life will be balanced. If you don't do the right things at the right time, there will be imbalance. So don't give too much emphasis to your material, the material aspects of your life, and don't neglect them as well. A little funny story comes to mind. You know, there was a tourist place where there was a tourist who came there. And there was a merchant who was there. And the merchant seemed like a pretty happy-go-lucky kind of a person. So the tourist was a little chatty by nature. So he started chatting up with the merchant. And he said, so what do you do? What's your name? How many people at home, etc.? How many hours a day do you work? I see that your shop is closed for half the day. What do you do? Yeah, I work only for these many hours every day. He said, why? What do you do the rest of the time? I spend the time with the family. I go for walks. And then I also go to the Bhaktivedanta Manor. And that's, I'm adding that. And I do so many things that I like to do. He said, you know, you're just working for this much time, and because the money that you earn is enough to help you do all this, you know, you should be more ambitious. He said, why? For what? He said, see, I'm an MBA from Harvard. So let me tell you what you should be doing. You know, if you work twice the number of hours that you're working now, you'll make twice the amount of money. And then you'll save up this money. And then you get a loan from a bank, because when you have a certain amount of money, they'll loan you a big amount of money. Then you expand your business. And then as you grow, now that you have money, you'll get more money. Then you can buy another business. And I'll make it a whole plan for you. And then you can buy your competitors off. And then you'll be big. You'll have many, many businesses under you. And then you can shift to London or New York or some big place. And then you can have a big company, list it on the stock market. And then, you know, it'll grow, and then you'll become the chairman of the whole group. You'll have a group of companies under you. And then you'll have big CEOs working under you. And you let them do the job. And then you know what? Then you should still sell your stocks in the stock exchange and make millions. So then the merchant asked, and then what should I do after that? Well, then you should now spend time with your family. You should relax. You should do whatever you want. So that's what I'm doing now. Yes, you get the point? So people struggle all their life to do things that they could easily and have done better just by being where they are. Unduly becoming too ambitious on the material front and neglecting our spiritual life, neglecting our health, neglecting our family, and so on, is very counterproductive. That kind of a balance in life is not of any value. So keep your Krishna consciousness always as a top priority in your life. And everything else in your life should be connected to Krishna consciousness. So you want your health to be good because you can serve Krishna better. You want decent income in your house, so you can live comfortably, reasonably comfortably, without being anxious about where the next meal will come from, and then you can serve Krishna with your money as well. You want to look after your family well so that they'll be happy, and then they can be engaged in Krishna's service. You have a car so you can drive to the temple, you can drive to devotional programs. So in this way, everything in your life should be connected to Krishna consciousness. Even your job, your business, your family, your health, your wealth. And then you set the priorities like this. Then you will see the balance will automatically come. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Any questions? Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you so much for the class. Sometimes we have so many dilemmas, and to resolve these dilemmas, I think you mentioned the importance of taking the GSS approach. But you don't want to, at the same time, you don't want to burden the Guru and Sadhu so much, and also what to do in
Say that again, we don't want to?
You don't want to burden the Guru
Burden, okay.
and Sadhu all the time, and what to do in circumstances when they're not available.
Okay, so your question is that if you follow the GSS approach, what to do if the G is not available? The Guru is not available all the time and you don't want to burden him. Well, there are also other Vaishnavas, other devotees who are like friends to us, who are mentors to us, who are senior, and we can always consult them. Yes? No harm in consulting. But consulting also, of course, is a tricky process, because many times we try to consult to get the opinion that we have. Right? We want our opinion to be reinforced, and then we accept that person is a good consultant or a counselor who tells us what we want to hear. So we should be cautious about that. That we're not just looking out for what we want to hear, but we should be looking for what's good for us. Yes? And we need not go around asking too many people about practical things, because everyone will have a different opinion. And then we'll end up getting confused. Right? So there should be certain principles we have, certain few people, and in general we can hear from everybody. But on practical matters, may not be wise to consult too many. Okay? Hare Krishna. Any other question? Yes.
Already if we are chanting, then is it necessary that we set aside some time for it, or we can chant like while going to office or while working in the kitchen? So what's the difference between that?
Okay, so the question is that when we are chanting, for example, should we set aside time for it, or can we do it let's say when we are cooking in the kitchen, or we are going to work, or going to work, etc. Now, let's say that let's say you're a business person, right? And you have a person, a potential client, who tells you, I could give you business for £1 million. Okay, so let's have a meeting. So what are you going to do? When you're going for the meeting, are you going to be eating and finishing your breakfast because you didn't have it in time? And say, sorry, I'm a little hungry. Yeah, we'll do it, but I'm a little hungry. Will you do that? Or will you be texting at that time when you're talking to this client? Will you be looking at the news on the television as to what's going on? No. What are you going to be doing?
Just talking to them.
You'll be focusing on the client, right? To the exclusion of everything else. Why?
Because we want to concentrate on the talk.
You want to concentrate on the talk. Why?
To gain the business.
You want to get the business. Why? You want to get the money. £1 million. You want to get that. Right? And why do you want the £1 million? Because you think it's so valuable. Because you think it's so important. The more important and valuable something is, the more time you give to it exclusively. And then you don't do other things at that time, lest you lose it. If your client thinks that you're not serious and you're not paying attention to him and you're talking to him and still talking to somebody else and answering your phones in the middle of the conversation, he's going to get upset. He'll say, I'll go to somebody else. So you're all ears when you're talking to that client, because you understand how important it is. So similarly, if we understand how important our chanting is, then we'll do it as well as we can as an exclusive activity. We can chant anytime. When you're walking, you're going in a car, going in the tube, that's fine. But generally your basic round should be done as an exclusive activity, because you recognize how important it is. We shouldn't mix it up. Certainly not when you're cooking, not when you're driving, or not when you're doing something else. It is an exclusive activity. So in this way, by hearing discourses and lectures, by asking questions, we come to understand what's important, what's not important. Then accordingly we set priorities, and then we set the balance. So now that you understand how important your chanting is, you will say, well, cooking when I'm supposed to cook, chanting when I'm supposed to chant. Don't mix the two. Once you've done your chanting, then during the cooking you can play some kirtans and hear that chanting, that's fine. But your quota of chanting should be done as an exclusive activity. Okay? Any other question? What is the time now, by the way?
10 to 8.
10:20?
10 to 8.
10 to 8. Oh, I got a shock. because I thought, have I gone so off balance that I just went on speaking? Okay. So we should have the balance, right? End the lecture, so don't make the lecture too long when it goes off balance. So thank you very much. Yes. No, I don't charge. You can ask, please. There's no worry. You can ask any question you like.
So when you said we should not, remain away from books for 3 days at least and come back to reading books, but chanting we should do every day. Sometimes we are like so much occupied in office work or other priorities that it's missed. So if it is missed for one day, let's say, what we should do, as in whether we should double next day or...
Chanting, you mean?
Yes.
So your question is that what if we get very busy with other things like our work and so on, and we miss our chanting on a particular day? Mm-hmm. Best to not miss. If you give it priority and importance, you will do it. Certain things like reading, etc., if you don't do it 1 day, 2 days, yes, but don't take it too long. But certain activities like chanting, japa have to be done every day. And if you miss, try not to. But if you do, even if it is, try to see this as few rounds as possible. And then make up the next day. So if you've decided you want to chant 8 rounds every day, if that's what you've decided, then you say you did only 6 today, then tomorrow do 10. And then gradually try to move from 8 to 16 over a period of time.
Why it's called 16? I heard in many occasions, in many lectures, everyone says 16 malas. Is there any significance of 16?
Okay, is there any significance of 16 rounds of chanting?
I don't know the logic behind this number 16.
Actually, Srila Prabhupada, when he went to America, first he told the devotees to chant 64 rounds every day. And when everyone said, what? It's impossible, Srila Prabhupada. We cannot chant 64 rounds every day. It'll take us 8 hours or 10 hours every day. When will we do other things? So Prabhupada said, okay, 32 rounds. Prabhupada, that's too much also. 32 rounds will take us too long. Then he said, okay, 16, no less than that. So that's how we've got to 16. He didn't say, okay, 8, 4, I'm saying that. No, we should try to make it to 16. Okay?
Thank you.
All right, so Neha, thank you very much. Where is Neha? Our hostess. Okay, thank you very much for arranging this program. And now we have a little Abhishek of Gaur-Nitai. You're going to worship the deities in your home. And the names for the deities, yes?
Yeah.
The names for the deities will be Shri Gaur, Shri Nitai Gaur Nataraj. Nataraj means the king of dancers. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to dance in the kirtan. So Nitai Gaur Nataraj. How does that sound?
Pretty good.
Okay, so thank you very much for this program and inviting everybody. And once again, I'd like to thank Mr. and Mrs. Pankania also for opening your house out to welcome all of us today so we could have this devotional gathering. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, now Neha, you can